It's recording once again. We're back. What's up, Alex? What's up, Denny?
Hey, what's happening?
What's up, boys? Hey, Joey. Oh, wait a minute.
Little busy fella.
One of these days, we'll get him out here. So I do have the football game on in the background. I apologize. Let me turn that down real quick.
This was one that they were considering not getting off the ground, right? They was going to move it a couple times, and
They should have just moved it. I mean, it did. Both teams, it did a disservice too. Half the Niners team is already injured, and then the other half is on the COVID list. So they should have moved it. But
That's the only reason why I I swapped out my defense. I kept Tampa, but I moved them to my bench, and I grabbed Green Bay's defense for tonight's game because I just thought, there's no way they don't beat up on these guys, right? There's literally no one playing for the Niners. It's almost as bad as our situation. Only we're getting healthy. They're now being bitten by the injury bug.
well, Denny, me, you, and Chaz are back on top, 6-2 all the way around after a nail biter of a game between you and Chaz. I was on the phone with him last night, and he was still trash talking that big win over Denny.
That half a point win.
No,
Ran
that was
away
a
with it,
close
man.
one, man. Fantastic game. So back in the lead. O'Doyle rules once again. Hanging tough. Basic Breeze, Cadillac Baglini, 5-3. Whole bunch of teams with 4-4 records. And none of you are willing to make trades. I am offering gold, people. Just take it. Just take it. I care. You don't. Accept.
I've thrown out some crazy deals today. I actually was trying to negotiate with Mike Jr., who I am playing this week, to see if we could make a swap to help each other's teams out to make it a little bit more interesting. We could not come to an agreement, unfortunately.
Their response to the fantasy cast was the best.
Oh, that was fantastic.
That was fantastic. Home run right there.
Yeah, love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel like a real creep. I might get me too'd for going back to the same well and trying to get the same players. It's like just keep getting my hand slapped away and keep trying to go back and touch a titty.
You know what my biggest problem is with making trades? I have that, and it carries over in my real life. It's that FOMO. I'm going to trade this player, and next thing you know, he's lighting it up. I'm going to play against him in the playoffs. He's going to score 40 points against me. It's going to be disgusting. I'm going to be pissed off and regret it. It always seems to go that way for me. So I'm like, should I just ride it out with these averaging 5 points a game players, and maybe they'll come through for me finally?
Yeah.
So is that how you feel about Robbie Anderson?
Hey.
He's the only guy that I ever consistently feel good about for some reason.
Son of a bitch. I was going to say, I got a Philip Lindsay or a Zach Moss coming your way if you are interested. What about Godwin
Moss
then?
is probably worth keeping.
Yeah. He's looking more and more interesting here. But do you want to take a quick look at the standings? Like you said, it's pretty tight race still. League home standings.
And Denny, you're still getting no respect from the rankings.
Yeah, I know. I kind of like
ranked fifth. It's crazy.
Yeah. Don't sleep on first and Den. Still at fifth. Brian at fourth. I've dropped to eighth. I think once I can get CMC back in my starting roster, I think this changes. He's supposed to come back this week.
Yep.
We got Cadillac Magalini projected to finish first. Old Pyros has dropped to sixth. That was a big swing here.
That might be that he had all of his players on the bench when it did the last calculation. He was dropping guys left and right. The bench was stocked. There wasn't any starting tight end or running back. I'm like, I think Richard's having a hard time today.
Yeah, the one thing that I think I put in the group text that I'm looking for a wide receiver. And I went to look at a certain roster who was projected to finish dead last. Not such a girly girl. I won't name names, but Kristen, you got a ton of wide receivers here. Let's try and make something happen or something work. I'm a pretty fair negotiator. I feel like Philip Lindsay for Michael Thomas. That's fair. That's straight up good.
Yeah. I don't know who wouldn't trade, like an injured Nick Chubb for like Shady McHasty. Come on.
Come on, man. Guys on the IR. You got a guy that might start next week in the
Yeah.
AFL.
You know,
I was
don't
actually
get-
willing to throw Gurley at it,
Ooh.
but that's
See,
tough.
It is tough. All right, because here's why. Sorry, I know there, but here's why I like Gurley is not going to be a a number one running back, right? Because he's averaging 40, 50 yards, but he's scoring touchdowns. He has at least a touchdown a game or that type of pace, something along those lines, right? So he's going to get you into the end zone. That's the value in Gurley, but he's not going to be your standalone RB1. So if you package that with somebody else, that makes sense for Chubb. That's something I would be, considering here.
that dude's scoring touchdowns even when he's not supposed to.
Right. yeah.
Yeah, like if you looked at his numbers, it's definitely an appealing trade.
But then he also runs out of bounds when he's not supposed to as well, and gives the team time to come back and win.
It's confusing out there.
Did Sean McVay just make it that easy on his players? Like they know exactly what to do, that they didn't have to think about being football players?
Alex, can you scroll up just a little bit and look at that logo? I mean, even the sad puppy dog eyes, this season was doomed from the moment that was chosen as your logo.
Yeah.
Now-
Think of something fierce.
Logos were one thing I was going to talk about. Well, not talk about on this, but I'm glad you brought it up. On the app, my logo shows up as one thing. And then in here, my logo shows up as just like a standard shield. I wasn't sure what everyone else sees because I really like my logo on the app. And I wasn't sure if you guys see that or not.
I wonder, it must be blocked on this one. The app must not have the right software.
Yeah.
Because I love the one you have on the app.
Okay. So you can see it on, you can at least see it there. So
Yeah.
that's all that really matters to me. But
ESPN's trying to get one over on you, Denny.
Yeah, everyone's against me. No respect. The one thing I was going to say about Girly Girl is it's tough for her, I think, because she gets put in these tough matchups. Like this week, she wins. There were only 3 other teams that outscored her in the league this last week. It was just a matchup situation that cost her the game, like any other opponent, she's pretty much winning. And that really kind of sucks. And, like you're like dead last, do I blow it up? Or is it just bad luck and maybe she can string it together a couple and maybe limp into the playoffs?
Yeah, Danny, we got to take a look. What happened here in week 6? I mean, she pistol whipped you, brother.
Yeah. And her team does occasionally. I mean, look at it. Occasionally throwing up 100 points here and there.
Right. I mean, she has the talent. The team has the talent.
Yeah.
This is the result of an auto draft, though. Now, look, you had to start Andy Dalton, who, oh, God, poor bastard. Just, rest his soul. But look, she has Will Fuller, Ridley.
Yeah.
Michael Thomas, Julio Jones, Curtis Samuel. Now, he's a streaky guy, but, Julio Jones, Michael Thomas, Will Fuller, and Calvin Ridley, these are stud wide receivers, man.
Yeah, now I think this week will be telling for her because she's in a tough spot with Stafford. Stafford is on the COVID list. He has a chance to test negative 2 times and possibly play Sunday. If not, he's out. And if she doesn't make any moves there, she's stuck with a bad quarterback. She could be looking at another loss. And then I think it's time, you got to phone it in and just blow it up and live for next year.
Right, start searching for that keeper.
Grab Saquon Barkley and put him on your IR, and he's your keeper for next year. Or make similar moves to those effects.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, since you
think
bring
at
up
the
the
time-
IR spot, let's just a friendly reminder to the league here, guys. You have 1 IR spot for injury related, and then the other 3 are dedicated to COVID. If a player is out for COVID reasons, whether it's the game is postponed, canceled, they have COVID, or if they are on the COVID IR list. If it's injury related, you only have 1 IR spot. So I am watching it. I've texted a couple of you. Thanks for not being, hard asses and just dropping the players. I do appreciate that. But just a friendly reminder, hopefully next year we can get back to the normal 1 IR spot. But for now, there's 4. 3 are dedicated to the COVID IR and 1 for injury related.
Jenny, Chuck got back to you that quickly?
Yes.
Because I invited the bastard to join us on this Zoom call. He was going to come in and razz you about kicking your ass last week. I guess when it came to like getting a Zoom going again, he probably got freaked out, right?
I literally sat there. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way the Giants put up this many points on Tampa Bay and they don't turn the ball over 15 times. Like, I've got this one. Half a point.
To go back to Kristen's team real quick, computer picked Singletary, and now we know how that played out. He's not getting the yards he needs. They're splitting it up there. So 10 points is probably a lot to project there. So she could definitely use help in the running back situation. Like, you got a lot of running backs. She's got a lot of great wide receivers. So let's do it.
Absolutely. And I'm trying to keep it fair. I did text her this morning and she did say she would be interested. I did not get back to her. So that's on me. But like you said, she's got a lot of good wide receivers and I am trying to send something fair. And, unfortunately I'm struggling with what Dennis struggles with. Who do I give up that I think is going to, number one, be fair, but also not make me regret. So that's what I'm wrestling with right now. For me, I would like to go after somebody like Ridley or Fuller. I think those are kind of the ranges I can get for the running backs I have. Probably be leaning towards Ridley. Might have to send, maybe Lindsey or Moss and one other player over to make it, somewhat equal.
Yeah.
And then you have to assume everybody else cares as much as we do.
That's so true. So true. Do you guys all? I mean, you mean to tell me that there's people in this league that don't wake up at 3:30 to double check the waiver?
Yeah, and when it rolls over at 7, I'm like, yes, finally.
And then all day Thursday, I'm watching, see what everyone's doing and what guys I can grab quickly versus who I have to wait on the waiver for.
I'll say even I get lazy on the waiver where I'm like, I don't really need anything.
I've done that a couple times, man. And then that week, like everybody dies for some reason.
COVID.
Yeah, well, let's. We're getting closer. The next week could be the last week of the season.
I mean, seriously, man, they are. More and more players, and it's not even like one or two. It's becoming entire teams, and the Raiders at one point thought they lost their entire offensive line.
Yeah,
So let's play that out. If it ended next week, okay. Let's do something different. Let's look at where we're at now, and then make predictions for the games this weekend. Keep track of those schedules, okay? And we'll see who would actually win the league, right? Because that's how it would be. Whoever has the best record. And
whoever has the best record, since we have a 3-way tie for the first place, it'd be whoever has the most points for. So this would actually go to your dad right now.
Yes. Chaz would win.
League champ Chaz.
Damn, I would be
you
salty.
Come in second. B-Man, you'd be third. So you get your money back. Or no, Courtney gets her money back. Fourth gets their money back. I apologize.
Wait, did we ever pay you? Did I send you money?
I said hold off just in case the season didn't finish. So once we hit week 10, that's when I'll start hounding everybody. Right. Who has to be pissed personally is Katie. She's
look at that.
Number one here. I mean, Courtney's not too far behind, but with 1,000 points, that squad to be 4-4, that's tough.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, man. Trying to see. Not such a girly girl has just had a tough schedule here compared to a couple of the other teams that are a little higher than her in the standings, but not much. Actually, this week I do want to give a quick shout out to Mike Jr. and Joe Ciccone. They are on an absolute heater. They are 4 wins straight. Yep. After starting out 0-4, they're now 4-4, fought their way back to 500 after losing Saquon Barkley. This team, was frankly just ravaged by injuries, but they've done a great job to stabilize it. They picked up Justin Herbert. This kid's been absolute money. DeAndre Hopkins has been awesome. They were even able to ride out A.J. Brown being hurt and who's just been an absolute stud since coming back. So
Cooper Kupp's been a point machine.
Yeah.
And now they have Antonio Brown back in the
And
lineup. Like they have a whole nother set of weapons coming back right now.
And they did really well with grabbing Jamal Williams at a valuable time. Got a couple weeks out of him. Production wise, yeah, it was really good moves.
Oh, Dennis, you're gonna like that interception.
Did they?
Yeah. Pick for the Packers.
Nice.
So tight matchup this week. We were trying to make a deal to better each other's squads. For me, I'm kind of hurting in the wide receiver after trading Marquise Brown and McLaurin. So I actually think I lost thus far. I think I've lost that trade, the Mark Andrews for McLaurin trade with Sarah. McLaurin has been money, even with all the QB rotation, the QB carousel for the football team. So Mark Andrews. I mean, they're still ranking him as a top 4 tight end, but he just has not been putting up the numbers. I think he's averaging 6 targets a game. That's just, you want to see more than that for somebody that you have to give up like a player like McLaurin for. So if anybody needs a running back, I'm looking for a tight end or a wide receiver.
Yeah. And Alex, there's also, there's guys out there too that are intriguing, like Nelson Aguilar's out there right now. Do you trust them,
Exactly. That's my problem. I don't trust Aguilar.
Yeah. Then you also have guys like, John Brown, Sammy Watkins, like
it's got to be matchup by matchup, right? It's got to,
like
John Brown, you got to say, all right, who are they playing this weekend? What's that? Yeah. So who's got the pass defense? Is there a chance he could stream? Our league is just so deep that you have to take a chance sometimes. It's literally just rolling the dice. I haven't personally played in a much smaller league, so I don't know, but like, is it common to get guys who score 20, 30 points and have because my guys mostly get 6 or 7 points and somehow that adds up to 90,
Yeah. So the other leagues I play in are, they're 12 team leagues. I play in 4 other leagues. I manage, I co-manage 1. And 3 on my own, and on average you're scoring between 130 and 150 points. So when you look at this and you see you're only doing like 90 points, it's like, what the hell? But then you realize there's so many other teams and the talent is so spread out that that's what brings all the scoring down. But yeah, so that's why for me, I get frustrated when I like you said, the talent is on so many other teams that you have to almost like calm down. Like, you don't need 68 transactions throughout the year, pal. Just relax, ride with it a little bit,
Yeah, because it's probably just numbers wise, the ratio works out to be the same. It's just 50-50. You either did or you didn't have an impact on that by moving a guy.
So the only thing I'll point out here before we move on here is, I was able to snag Christian Kirk on the waiver wire. I had to drop him really because I had to make a move last week. Was able to get him back. He has been stealing the downfield targets from DeAndre Hopkins, so I'm hoping that keeps up, especially this week as Mike is marching him out. So
yeah, it is interesting when you watch how these teams play, and DeAndre Hopkins, he's the downfield threat, and then they get into the red zone and they only look at Christian Kirk, and it's got to be infuriating, like when you see these guys, you're just relying and hoping and assuming, oh, he's hot, they're going to go to him, and then they just go to the, just anyone else in the end zone, but the big name, I'll say, you get some points with guys like Hopkins. He does put up a ton of points, but Christian Kirk is definitely stealing some thunder from him. He took 2 touchdowns last week?
Yeah, 2 touchdowns.
Probably set up from DeAndre Hopkins, and then he just cashes in.
I'm okay with it, man. That's all I need. All right, so let's jump to Dennis, your matchup versus Sarah. So Sarah 4-4, Dennis 6-2, coming off a devastating blowout loss of a half point to your dad. Look, Sarah's trying to get back in the win column here. Excuse me. Your team is looking. I heard Breeze hasn't practiced again today, or was limited in practice.
Yes.
Jacobs, I think, is going to be okay. He's getting some linemen back. But yeah, what are you thinking here, man?
So Breeze, I'm a little bit concerned about, and I thought about trying to make a move. I don't really know who's out there that I would feel more comfortable with. because they were saying that Breeze might also get, Thomas back, another receiver back. So, and then Christ, watching him play last week, it was one of those things where I was punished by Breeze playing decent, and the only person he throws it to is Kamara, and I'm playing against Kamara. So I'm rooting for Breeze to do well, but all he has to do is dump it off to Kamara, and it counts as a pass.
Yeah.
Kamara gets half a point for that, plus all the yards, and really kind of just, you hate rooting against the guy, but at the same time, I wish Kamara would have gotten hurt. But then Breeze would have had no one to dump it off to, and no points at all. So it's kind of one of those, you hate to see it happen. You hate to play against. It's like when you start, you're a quarterback against the defense you're also playing,
Yeah.
You're playing against yourself sometimes. So that hurt. But so I'm hoping Breeze is all right. He can get some, downfield targets, throw it up to Thomas a lot this week, dump it off to Kamara, and get me something, salvageable points wise. My big thing is I need at some point in time, one of these tight ends I'm getting to give me some points.
Yeah. So
I lucked out 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, Logan Thomas got me 11 points, which was the highest output I've gotten from a tight end all season. Then he went on the bye. So I put, Gesicki in, half a point, and just killed me. And
I have 3 tight ends who are starters. So with the Giants tight end, I got Goddard now, and Alex had traded me the dude from Atlanta, Hurst.
Yeah, Hayden Hurst. Yep.
Yeah, Hayden Hurst.
Yeah. So Denny, if you need some help.
Yeah, because I'm looking at I'm just spinning my tires here with these guys, and
well, you got crushed because Ertz went down. I mean,
and he's targeting what, week 11 maybe at the earliest, but in a contract situation in a frustrating year, what's the rush? So if I were him, he may opt to wait until week 15 to come back.
Why? You don't think
you think though it's going to be a bit of the Austin Hooper though? So before Hooper signed with the Browns, he was with the Falcons. He was having a monster season. Not the same for Ertz, but he knew he wasn't going to re-sign. He could walk. He could walk from the Falcons and just sign a mega deal somewhere else. Do you think Ertz comes back with that motivation to prove that he's still got it, still a top 3 tight end, deserves the Kelsey, Kittle money? So he comes back as soon as possible. Do you think that's possible, or do you think he's just so frustrated that he's?
I think it only benefits him to come back and play like a maniac. Show what sets him apart, especially with now Kittle's not there. You can draw some of that attention away, some of that comparison away, at least for the rest of this season. He's got to reestablish himself with his name. And really get out there. It doesn't help him to stay out longer, but I could also see him just saying, wait until he's not going to rush back until he's absolutely healthy and can really contribute and do something. But, I do fully expect that when he comes back, the rest of the team should be good enough to where we actually are doing something with with wide receivers and tight ends to where, he starts becoming effective in the game again.
I just hope personally, another league, I have Goddard, and I held on to him ever since he went on IR. So it's the same team that I drafted Michael Thomas. So I've had 2 guys that I've been sitting on for a while that have been, hurt. So 2 guys I'm hoping to come back and just have a ton of upside. I do think Goddard will be. Everybody was like, I was reading one of the Eagles blogs the other day, like ripping why they spent the draft pick on Goddard if they're not going to pass to him, and dude just came back. He was clearly wasn't 100% healthy. They needed help with blocking. He was doing that. Next week, I think, they have the bye this week. The following week when they come back, I think that's when we're really going to see the Goddard breakout.
Yeah. And like you said, same situation for me. I've got Ertz sitting there on my IR, and I've also, I won't give up Raheem Mostert either, but he's just sitting there taking up space as well, valuable space. And I'm hoping he comes back after their bye. Maybe next week. Yeah.
So I just, before we move on from the tight ends, guys, I guess I'm surprised with Gesicki. This guy ruined my championship last year and then turned into a complete pumpkin again. But with Tua, tight ends, rookie quarterbacks tend to rely on their tight end. So I wouldn't sell on this guy or bail or cut bait on this guy just yet, really, because Tua did not have to pass last week.
Right.
I think he had under 15 attempts throwing. I mean, really, really low. So
Yeah, the defense dominated the game last week. They dictated the game and really took it out of their hands.
exactly. So I would hold on to him. Let's see how this week goes. Arizona is another tough DST. I think just as tough as the Rams, but I don't think the Arizona offense struggles as much as the Rams did last week. So I think this guy's got a lot of upside this week.
Danny, I was gonna say, every week you talk about DK Metcalf. Dude, you're just right. You're just so right. The Eagles missed out on what's going to turn out to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, 100%.
Like
generational player.
Pick?
The
Tell
guy's
me
that
how
good.
It worked out again.
What's that?
Who did they pick? Tell me how it worked out.
We took JJ Arcega-Whiteside before him.
Who's that? Who's that?
J-Jaw. He's a great dancer. He's got great celebration skills. But DK Metcalf is on the board, and we passed on him. And it's unbelievable.
And
knowing what we needed.
He's only 22. Like, he hasn't even grown up yet.
Yeah, he hasn't even hit his stride. They're saying the break. Yeah, I mean, a true breakout year typically occurs more and more in the third year. So, there's a lot coming for this guy, man.
Yeah. I'm wondering if he's a big personality. I think I read a story saying something like when he did his pro day and he met with Pete Carroll, he showed up to the interview without his shirt on, just kind of like, here it is. It's what I am. And, Pete Carroll loves that shit. And Pete Carroll returned fire by taking his shirt off for the meeting as well.
That doesn't surprise me.
So, which is, par for the course there, but I could see that being something that the Eagles always try and finding that just disciplined, play the game, keep it low key type personality. And I could see that being a reason why maybe they thought, we're going to have a diva on our hands. We're not going to go that route,
and that's why all our wide receivers suck.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a little bit of truth to that though. That position, you have to be a cocky son of a bitch. You really, I'm not saying I'm looking for somebody that's you have to wonder all right, Sunday's over. What's he going to do off the field? No, I'm not saying that's, that I don't know. It's part of the persona that comes with it, that when they're lining up against another guy, they have to have that confidence, the cockiness to say, I'm going to burn this dude, turn him inside out. And our guys, they just don't have it. I think Rager has potential, but if he can stay healthy, but other than that, these guys are a bunch of, scrubs. That's it.
Yeah.
Damn, Amazon's still delivering packages at my house. It is 9:23 p.m. Yo, we don't need it. You're good, man. I'll bring it tomorrow.
Go wait until the morning.
Yeah, bring coffee and donuts back with this package.
All right, let's jump to this next game.
By the way, if any of you were interested,
I was just gonna say it.
We tried a couple donuts from Dunkin' Donuts last week. There is one called the sour cream, Denny.
Sour cream donuts, which are the perfect donut.
It's delicious. Your mind will be blown. It's savory. And then we tried the ghost pepper. The ghost pepper donut. Now, we thought we were getting in for a lot of pain, and it turns out that it's basically like sprinkled cinnamon. It barely caused Denny to sweat.
Yeah, it was
Denny
weak.
Sweats when he eats Chinese food, folks. Come on.
We had Chinese 2 weeks ago, and Jill looked across the table at me, and it was like everything I was eating had jalapenos and peppers in it. And she was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, just a little hot."
Zoe's boyfriend Devin.
Yeah.
He's the same way. No matter what he eats from Chinese, he starts sweating. So we just die laughing. Whenever they come over, we're like, let's get Chinese. Let's see if Devin starts sweating. He has to go outside and shit. It's so funny.
I'm not going to that place. They only eat fucking Chinese over there.
It's the best.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, Dunkin' Donuts. You don't need to try the ghost pepper; it sucks. But do try the sour cream donut. And Denny, good picking on Metcalf. You're totally right, and you could tell us every week.
All right, let's jump to the next game here. We got the sisters, Hannah versus Steph Boothman, Parade Day survivors, Saquon's dies. All right, so we have one that's 4-4, 1, 3-5, one looking to get to 500, one to get above 500. Let's see. Parade Day survivors was riding the hot hand of Carson Wentz, not so much last week, just lost Kittle. Miles Sanders has not been healthy all season. So this is another team that's just been hurt by injuries. Been trying to make it work, fighting, staying alive here at 500. Picked up Jordan Reed this week. Nick Foles against Tennessee. That's a tough matchup. But I'm going to pick Saquon's thighs on this one. I like Tom Brady's matchup, the way he's been playing. He gets AB this week. Chris Carson, if he's healthy, I think he's got a real favorable matchup against Buffalo.
Yep, bingo. That's the one.
Yeah. I think that's the one that changes it here.
Yep, absolutely. Shout out to Nick Foles. They do just keep winning over there. So whatever it happens.
Lost 2 in a row.
Come on. He's fine. He won that game. No, are they going to take him out? I feel like they were going to take him out.
They're getting close. I think they're getting close to going back to Trubisky.
Yeah. He had it. He had a run. He had some excitement.
Stay golden, pony boy. All right. What else do we got? We have Randall Cobb, Crowder. If he's healthy, he's been just putting up numbers this year. Robinson, I think Robinson, Cooks, these are two pretty good wide receivers this week. I do like their matchups. I think Cooks has a better matchup personally than Robinson. Let's see what else. Anything else you guys got on this game?
I was going to say, Crowder last week really came back to hurt Saquon's thighs. Between Crowder and Aguilar both giving her 0 points, and Corey Clement being ineffective. But this week, I don't think you're going to see the same situation. She dropped Aguilar. Maybe he comes back to earth, or maybe we're seeing what he really is, and he's not worth picking up again. But I think this week she at least has enough to put it together with, like I said, Tom Brady and Chris Carson. Should be enough to win that.
Yep,
I think so too. She also picked up the football team DST.
Yes, very good pickup.
Which I think was a good move. I think she's gonna be all right. But we shouldn't sleep on Corey Davis on the Parade Day survivors. He's been coming out or back to life here as defenses start to pay more attention to AJ Brown.
Yeah. And I was excited to see, at first I went looking for Jordan Reed. I forgot where he was being stashed when I read that he was going to be activated from the IR late in the day and put right into action. And I thought that might have been a good pickup. Could still work out for her, but I assumed it was going to be a good pickup just because, good putting him back in her lineup, I should say, not a pickup because he wasn't available. Being how depleted the Niners are, and especially without Kittle now.
Yeah. No, good point. Reed here has already gotten a couple looks. I've been watching the game here as we're talking, and he's played a large majority of the snaps here. So hopefully Mullen starts looking his way. They're down 14-3. I think if the Packers put another one up here soon, they're going to get away from the run game. Hasty has just not been effective. McKinnon has been, though. I think he's already got 30 yards. Hasty is just a bit disappointing in what he's done thus far. All right, so next game, we have Basic Breeze, my better half, 5-3 versus one and done at 6-2. One and done, riding high, talking trash, wheeling and dealing here, working the waiver wire.
This is going to be the last year I sit next to him and help him draft a team. Tom, you don't want all Eagles players.
Yeah, we'll see a return back to that next year.
Yeah, next year you can take Boston Scott, Corey Clement, Wendell Smallwood. I'm sure he'll be pulled off the trash heap somewhere.
Well, Rodgers is off to a good start, so if that holds out, it's going to be an uphill battle already. But if you go Yeah, you can go line by line here. That would kind of be a fun thing to do. Rodgers or Watson? Who you got?
I'm gonna say Watson just because dude seems like every week he puts up 40 points.
Yeah,
I mean Rodgers does as well, but you know, if I had to count on someone to win it in the clutch, I'm going with Rodgers. But if I'm looking for fantasy points, I'd probably lean more towards Watson in this matchup.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning Watson as well, mostly because I'm watching the game right now, and Rodgers is not going to have to do much more, frankly. So, I feel like I'm cheating here, but I'm going to go Watson. I agree, too, that he's also got a really favorable matchup against Jacksonville. So I'd go Watson.
Then we got Jonathan Taylor versus Kamara. We know Kamara, obviously. James Robinson versus Jordan Howard.
That's a tough one because Howard has a chance to get in and make an impact. If they're saying it's really going to be a split between him and Laird this weekend, but since Laird is more of the back catching, receiving back in special teams, that Howard might get a legitimate shot. But you are playing a tough Arizona defense, so and Howard's been inactive. He's been not dressed for 4 games this season, is it? So
well rested.
yeah, he's either well rested or he's rusty as shit.
yeah, there it is. Let's see. I'm going going Robinson on this one. I really like his matchup. Guys run well. He's been a top 6 back throughout the year. He had a couple down games, but new quarterback. I think his name's Gluten or something like that. It's really weird. I shouldn't say his name's weird. I don't know I don't know anything about this guy. Minshew's on the bench. I think they rely on the run game here. So I'd try and avoid the Jacksonville wide receiver. So I'm going James Robinson over Howard.
I'd be curious to see if Chris Thompson he's back off of he's off the IR, COVID IR. He'll be dressing now as the backup in Jacksonville, or in Jax. It'll be interesting to see if he's able to steal away any playing time from Robinson.
Next up, we have DK Metcalf, Amari Cooper. You got DK Metcalf. Justin Jefferson versus Cole Beasley. Now, Cole Beasley this week looks to have a lot of upside.
Yeah, he does.
This is a coin toss to me, guys. I feel
Cole
like Justin Jefferson is every other game.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, still too young, hasn't proven it yet.
I'd have to say the next one is the tight ends. Noah Fant has just been super reliable. Jimmy Graham. I got to take Noah Fant.
I got to go Fant too. I think I read he's seeing, between the last 2 games, like 16 to 20 targets. I mean, you love the target. So I got to go Fant as well.
Yeah, and they're playing a weak defense there too in the Falcons. I think Falcons are one of the worst defenses in the league. So it's a good matchup for the tight end there.
Let's see. We got DJ Moore versus Juju Smith-Schuster. What a disappointment Smith-Schuster's been this year. But then again, DJ Moore isn't exactly been crushing it. He had 2 very good games. For me, I'm actually going to go DJ Moore, and here's why. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers blow out Dallas. They're not going to need to, run their first receiver out there for a long time. I think there's a real probability we see backups at the end of the 3rd quarter. DJ Moore, they're playing Kansas City. They're going to be needing to throw a lot, even with CMC back. I'm going DJ Moore.
Now, is Bridgewater injured, or is he starting, or?
I think he's still starting. I haven't heard anything say he's not.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I kind of agree with you with the Pittsburgh approach. Could this be another game where you see Claypool getting 4 touchdowns against a weak defense?
Right.
And Smith-Schuster just not getting looks. But I don't know, maybe it's just a game where they get him back into the rhythm of things and they feed Smith-Schuster a lot because of the attention everyone else is going to be drawing. So, I'm going to give it to him. I'm going to give him the advantage.
I would agree. Let's look at we can do DSTs. I know it's crazy to talk, or we can do kickers, or we're just going to take a quick peek at the bench.
No, we don't need to do kickers. I don't really
You
care
sure?
about kickers. Yeah.
I mean, despite what I say, she's got 2 kickers, just, Blankenship and Carlson.
It's funny when you get to kickers sometimes and you go, who? Like, who's
Yeah,
that?
exactly. I just like Blankenship's freaking photo.
Jenny,
here.
whenever I hear Blankenship, I think of the Curse of Oak Island now.
I think of Wild Thing Vaughn because of the glasses.
All right. What number was Wild Thing Vaughn?
Ooh.
See 00?
Come on, he's 99, bro.
I was going to say 99 and 00. I was going to say it.
like Mitch Williams. He was also 99.
All right, big week here. All right. In the past, they have come together. Courtney and your dad have played a total of 4 times. Your dad is 1-2 in the regular season, 0-1 against Courtney in the playoffs. So big week here. Chance to chip away at this, get closer to 500 against Courtney here.
I noticed there. Now I remember that she was Team Tootsie Scrolls back in the day.
Yeah.
And how are you guys feeling about your name? Are you happy with your name? Would you ever change?
I wanna try and win it once with Wolfman's Got Nards. So our trophy will have the phrase Nards on it at all times. If Breeze
Or the
retires,
commish, you could just call it something like the Nards.
all right, Brian. When you put it like that, simple enough. There it is.
So you would consider moving away from Wolfman's Got Nards? Okay, Denny.
I don't know. I think it just works so well with mine.
Yeah, First and Dennis
First and
is
10, so I
awesome.
That is great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's top notch fantasy football name. Hell yeah.
What about Bows and Throws?
I'm keeping it. It's terrible. It's stupid, but it fits. And I'm just going to tack on the year every year so I remember what season we're on. One and done. He's still going to rock that. I wonder, Katie had a name change, right?
Campaign Blazers, and then to the Monstars, and then back to the Campaign Blazers.
Okay. Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Let me just double check.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
Yeah, Campaign Blazers, the Monstars, and then back to Campaign Blazers. All right, so let's jump to the next one. We have Knitter Please versus Campaign Blazers. 3-5 versus 4-4. The highest scoring team in the league is 4-4. I can't imagine how frustrating that is, but unfortunately for this squad, we can do the position by position. But the quick commentary I have on this is that this team has ride and dies by Josh Allen. Last 2 weeks he has been not good, but the depth of this team I think makes up for it. Derrick Henry, Antonio Gibson. I love the matchups here for these 2 guys. Mecole Hardman, Stephon Diggs, I think get back. Not a big fan of David Montgomery on his matchup this week, but again, I think this team should be fine.
That's another one. Talking about that Bears running back situation. Keep an eye on that. Something I was reading was saying, David Montgomery has been given a ton of chances. He's not necessarily getting it done. Cordell Patterson, he's a utility back. He's more of the that Swiss Army knife player, wide receiver, converted running back, special teams guy. Lamar Miller is on the practice squad and could wind up getting a shot at stealing some time away from David Montgomery there.
Lamar Miller, my God. You were saying, Cordell Patterson, has not really been effective. But I didn't realize how much they miss Tariq Cohen since they put him on IR.
Yeah, it's definitely come to hurt them.
I think that Katie wins this one no matter what. The only good player on Knitter Please is Devontae Adams. And I have offered every player I have, and she will not budge.
Well, it looks like we're dressing a proper team this week. So that's A for effort on there. Last week, she didn't trust a kicker, and then she had 5 players with combined 5.5 points. So it was a bad showing last week. It just doesn't get any better walking into the buzzsaw that is the Blazers right now.
For sure. Looking at the bench here, I'm trying to see why Boston Scott's still in the starting lineup. There's nothing on the bench. It's just a stack of bodies here. We got Mark Ingram, probably dead. Austin Hooper lost his appendix. Tariq Cohen, he's done. Everybody else is on a bye. This is tough here because running back depth is hard. Dion Lewis versus David Montgomery. You're definitely going Montgomery on that one. This is going to be a tough one for Knitter. Please, I think Campaign Blazers moves to 5-4 pretty easily here.
Blazers is just a very well-rounded team. I mean, I was looking back even last week. She has a huge win last week, and then when you look at her bench, only three players were on the bye, and 3 players, with one of them being on the bye on her bench, and they scored a combined 53 points, which probably would have beat Knitter Fleas last week as well. So it's with their bench alone, it's insane. That's a ton of production from the top down, even on your bench, to have that much depth. Makes that a very scary opponent.
For sure. I mean, this team, though, like you said, is currently hurting for players. I don't think they had. I think they just lacked a stud running back from the start. I can't remember if they had somebody get hurt and they dropped him. But Boston Scott, Dion Lewis, these guys, you're hoping to only roll them out when you're faced with buys. But Devontae Adams is an absolute stud, potential keeper for them next year, or DJ Shark. What he needs, though, to move to that elite wide receiver 1 is a steady wide receiver. Minshew came out when the league didn't have much game film on him. This is why Shark was, climbing or considered such a top wide receiver. Unfortunately, they figured out Minshew. Minshew is hurt, though. And I think that's what's holding Shark back from getting to the next level.
Can you see if Devontae Adams was indeed a draft pick?
He was, because I had him and I didn't protect him.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
We were talking about that. First round, 15th overall.
Good on you.
All right. Let's go to the big matchup of the week here. Boats and Throws, 5 versus Old Pyros, 4-4. B-Man, I think this might be your best record this far into the season.
Oh yeah, by far. Yeah, I've never had a season this good. I'm living it up. I think this is the coolest. But I see that the wheels are slowly falling off this thing. Ezekiel Elliott appears to just be a slug, and it's probably because the rest of his team has fallen apart. So he's got nothing to run behind or run to. So I don't expect much out of him the rest of the season. I did pick up Hasty here just as an opportunity to roll the dice on a flex player. The only reason I put him as my starting running back and not a flex player is because if you start, this is just a tip, on Thursdays, you want to still be able to put that flex player out there, right? So you want to have the ability on Sunday to swap in case there is a COVID case or an injury over the weekend. So whenever you're going to do that with picking up a player, if you could put him in a starting position, putting him in a starting position, even though you still intend to keep your other guy. I don't know if that makes sense to everybody, but
absolutely. No, that's a really good strategy to give out to everybody, point out, and, not just COVID even. I'm going to say even in the, when normal returns is if you have a Thursday game, if you're going to play the Thursday guy, I try to put him either, if it's a wide receiver, one of the wide receiver slots or the running back slots. This way, if they don't have a good game and you need to take a flyer on somebody on Sunday or Monday, you have a lot of flexibility with the flex position. You can use wide receiver, running back, or tight end. So it opens up your possibilities to hitting or capturing that that guy that will go off. So that's a really good point, is why you don't put them in the flex spot if they're playing on Thursday. This way, if, like you said, if COVID or they don't have a good game, you have the opportunity with the flex position to try and put somebody in there that could go off.
So now looking at this with the current score being 21-3 Packers, that means the Niners aren't going to get an opportunity to run. That means Hasty's probably not going to pick up many more yards this game. So we shall see. Thielen underperforms the last couple of weeks, but he'll probably get back on track. Emmanuel Sanders is coming off the injury and COVID list.
Yep.
Just plugged him in. I thought there was an opportunity here. Alex, earlier in the year, we traded Hayden Hurst and Madison, and I feel like I've really appreciated this trade. I think it's been good.
Yeah, I would agree. I think, Madison, for me, why I wanted him was because I just acquired Cook. So I want to make sure I had his backup locked up because Cook is high injury prone. But Hayden Hurst, has been a borderline tight end one, or he has been a tight end one. He's, been finishing regularly in the top 10. Is he a top 5 guy? He flirts with it, and he can do it once if he can do it with the Falcons. Ryan is constantly looking for him. So he's had a couple missed or dropped touchdown passes. So I think Hayden Hurst is I have him in other leagues. I think he's a solid play, not at the point yet of a set it and forget it, maybe next year. But right now, he's a guy that will outdo, I think, the other tight ends you have on your team right now.
Yeah, that's why he's playing. And if Dalvin Cook does go down, you lose 50 points last week. I mean, that guy is just amazing.
Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. The only thing I want to highlight, though, with Emmanuel Sanders is why this might be a good play. They have Tampa Bay. This is a tough defense, but Michael Thomas is still only doing limited practices. He's only played week 1. So we're in week 9 now. No Michael Thomas. So 8 weeks still on the injured list, still not fully practicing. I think Emmanuel Sanders, off COVID-19 injured reserve. This is a pretty good guy that might pay dividends for you.
Nobody bounces back from COVID like Trump did. Those antibodies, he was out dancing.
Let's be honest. Of all the viruses he's contracted, that's the least
ball afterwards. That's how good he felt.
Are you suggesting he's like Mr. Burns, where he has every virus, so they block the way they can't
no room occupied?
I don't know how deep you guys go into conspiracies, but maybe they did give him adrenochrome, and that just solved him.
Back.
Everybody look up adrenochrome. We'll talk next time.
You might have to spell that on the screen.
That's that great socialized medicine medical program he's got.
All right, so
if
Pyros here is going to be relying on Patrick Mahomes. This is if you go Carr versus Mahomes, while Carr's been playing much better, you definitely go Mahomes each week.
Yep.
He's got Joshua Kelly. He's not lived up to expectations since Eckler went down.
That team just sucks.
Yeah. I mean, that's just putting it nicely here. He's got James Conner, so he's going to switch one of them out probably. And I think that hurts you pretty badly here because Connor's got Dallas, who is a terrible run defense. So the question is, though, does he forget to pull Matt Brady from the lineup? Because it doesn't look like he's going to play. Actually, he has not hit practice. And what you have to watch out for is Tyler Lockett. So if you look at his stats, it's pretty much every other game he puts up like 30 or 40 points. So wow. 13, 15, 35, 4, 6, 45, 46. So the pattern holds true. Actually, you might be okay. It should be anywhere between 5 and 55 points. So
yeah, it goes 1, 2, skip a few.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, guys. Anything else on this game?
No, I have no way to predict it. I would actually think that Richard's team wins because my team hasn't actually been scoring that well. I haven't gotten over 90 in the last 2 weeks. So
I was actually going to say last week your output, against any other team, you won with the lowest score.
Yeah.
And
it hasn't been good. That's why I've been searching.
Yeah. was a good matchup that you had last week to keep you going. I think you still have a really good chance of winning this week. I mean, projection says you're supposed to, but I think it's going to be a pretty close one. Might be a half-point game at the end.
Excuse me.
And I was going to say, circle back really quick. We were talking about, Nita Please and with their before the last one, and their running back situation. She did not take a running back until the 4th round, and it was Mark Ingram.
That's tough.
So she went. It was Devontae Adams, Odell Beckham Jr., Lamar Jackson, and then Mark Ingram.
That's right. OBJ, I forgot. RIP. So 0 RB for Knitter Please does not seem to be working out.
It shows the importance of getting in those first 2 rounds. Really grabbing receiver, running back, best available at those two spots, especially in a league as deep as ours. It's extremely valuable.
Yeah, as you can see, I definitely personally value running backs more than any other position. As you texted me this morning that I have 30 running backs on my squad right now.
And one coming off the IR.
And one coming on. Actually, I can't move them off the IR because I have too many running backs. So until I find a trade partner, I'm stuck. All right, let's see. Cadillac Baglini versus not such a girly girl. 5-3 for Joe. Kristen, 1-7, not her best season. We've already, beaten on this squad a little bit here. It's a combo of injuries and auto draft, picking all the stud wide receivers. Now, those wide receivers have really dealt with injuries throughout the year, but I think Joe easily takes this one, unfortunately, mostly because Stafford's now out or unlikely to play. He could test positive, sure, but I'm assuming no at this point. And I see no quarterback in the waiver wire that I would say plug and play, you're going to be okay, especially going against Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Russell Wilson's going to put up 47 points.
Yeah, which is, pretty much what I'm expecting from this team. David Johnson, top 12 running back this week against Jacksonville. Their run defense is garbage. Wayne Gallman was serviceable, though Alfred Morris did look better, frankly, in that game. Now, I'm gonna echo Brian here on the please respond to trades, guys. Joey, I sent you Chase Claypool. I'm requesting Chase Claypool for Phillip Lindsay. I think this is a fair deal, considering the fact that the Steelers have 13 receivers they're trying to hit with targets. So when you get a minute, pop it open, take a look at the deal. Let me know. Phillip Lindsay could be yours. He's been the better of the 2 running backs. I'd love to add Chase to my bench here, but just take a look and let me know.
Yeah, other than him being a little running back heavy.
Yeah.
Like it would be a good pick because I think Claypool had his flash in the pan.
Yeah. So the only reason I'm interested in Claypool is you just don't know what Deontay is. And I probably shouldn't say this because I do.
Yeah. Take it off air.
Yeah. All right. So, like you said, running back heavy. He's about to get Aaron Jones back. I mean, he's supposed to be on a workload tonight. He has not looked like that at all. They've been running him heavy. Tevin Coleman, we don't know what this guy's going to do when he comes back. He hasn't really had a great season, even when he has been playing. Deebo Samuel is a guy that I would be interested in holding on to, so he's going to keep him in the IR spot. But, again, just somebody, I would feel more comfortable with a Lindsay as my flex personally than a Gallman or the Deontay Johnson, which is why I picked it. I sent it over.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. All right. So not much really to cover in this one, I don't think, unless Dennis, you have something you want to add on this one.
No, like I said, I think you're looking at another week with Gurley's team where you're going to see good output at 88, but not, the up and down that we're seeing every once in a while, 100 and some points, with tough losses. I think Joe's got a very well-rounded team, just going to good enough to beat, to take this one.
Yeah, I agree. And, just want to highlight that Not Such a Girly Girl is our rusty ass queen right now. And will, in my opinion, and I do agree with the league projections here, will retain the title at the end of the season. Anybody else disagree?
It's hard once you get into the playoffs, right? Because they do the loser bracket.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because that the year that the first year of the league when I won the rusty ass, and I didn't think it was possible because of the fact that I won a loser bracket playoff game and then lost the other one. And I was like, well, how did that work? I didn't have the worst record and I won one of those games, but it still happened. So anything can happen when it comes down to it. But yeah, I mean, she could wind up. You know what? I think Chasing Summer is having a really bad. He's getting beat up and chewed up on some of these teams, and so I think he may wind up taking it this year.
It's going to be Chasing Summer.
That's my prediction.
I got to tell you, that's a fair take. I'm sticking with Not Such a Girly Girl, despite the fact that she has every wide receiver in the world right now. But I'm Chasing Summer is probably another solid pick for Rusty Ass.
So Rusty Ass definitely goes to the winner of the loser bracket.
Yep. Whoever finishes last in the record. What's that?
And not the person with the worst record.
So it's whoever loses the lowest bracket of here. I'll pull it up here. I don't know if I'm making sense here. The Bears are kicking in.
What if we've been giving it out wrong for 5 years?
No, just adopt the just win, baby. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to figure out. Can't remember where this game standings. There we go. Sorry.
Jenny, I was thinking, I wrote down a note that when you were talking about COVID earlier, and if you still had a shitty job like we had when we were in high school, like working at Virtuos and shit, wouldn't you just call your boss and be like, oh, I got coronavirus?
Oh yeah,
have like 2 weeks off because they can't fucking fire you and they can't make you prove it.
Without a doubt, I know for a fact. Like when I go back to work after like 2 weeks being at home, just from like a quarantine standpoint, we have the same thing set up. They have to give you hours, but I'm working this entire time. I'm going to take off like next Friday. My boss is going to be like, how do you have vacation time left? You've been out for 2 weeks. And I'm like I was working.
All right. So it is the loser of this game here, the game C12, whatever the hell that means, is whoever loses this game will be the winner of the Rusty Ass. Not necessarily the worst record, but it is considered the toilet bowl of the league. That is the individual that goes home with the Rusty Ass, which is currently sitting in Sarah's new pad. So Hagel, whenever you can swing by and get your reward from last season, please feel free.
We should have like how they celebrate with the Stanley Cup. You have to like celebrate with it for a week, or each guy gets it for a day. We should do that because I feel like people aren't celebrating with their trophies or their lost trophies. Like we should make Kristen.
I agree.
We were
supposed to have this whole requirement that you're supposed to do like a photo shoot with it, like a Christmas holiday card with the Rusty Ass if you want it, something embarrassing like that. And we just have not stuck to it.
Yeah, I think we can start full display. Celebrating it. Yeah. Make Kristen take it to Bali next time she's there. Like she's always make her. It's going to,
COVID hasn't slowed that travel down to my knowledge.
But it is ceramic. We don't need it flying from country to country.
We can Photoshop it in there.
You're going to break buy another one on Amazon.
All right. So just jumping back to the games here. Lego My Mego versus Chasing Summer. I think actually Chasing Summer, despite the fact that I I think Chasing Summer will take this one mostly because 2 players started today that are on the COVID IR. This is just unfortunate for Mego. Last minute, nothing she could do here. I get, if she had more time, maybe she could have altered, pulled Kendrick out for Chase Edmonds, who I think is going to have a big week this week. So she still can switch out Rex Burkhead for him, but it's going to be a tough week for Lego My Mega with 2 guys putting up goose eggs here.
Yeah, that's a tough break. You could, like you said, you try and avoid one of them, but both of them. And when you routinely rely on them for points, you hate to cut them because they do produce. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it is tough. I mean, last minute here, these guys had 2 good weeks here. Any other time, you'd probably be okay with this, but COVID, man.
I'm guessing she doesn't check out Pro Football Talk like every 15 minutes at work just to see what's going on. Stop.
Shame on her.
Yeah, take a little break in the middle of surgeries to see what's going on. Bathroom breaks, check your phone.
Shit, you can't do it while doing the surgeries.
Yeah, things you got to start working on. Really got to, if you're committed to this league and this team, you gotta make it work. My work suffers dramatically because of this. Thursdays are the least productive for me. So.
Yeah.
I
so
will also say I've got a thing about playing players on Thursdays. You guys are talking about that with the, keeping the flex spot available, with the Thursdays. Unless it's a really good matchup, I try and avoid it altogether. I just don't like players playing on Thursday. I don't think that they are as well rested, and you don't get as much output from them.
Oh, absolutely, man. They don't have as much time to game plan, do walkthroughs, practice, which I know it sounds insane that, with the amount they do this already, but you can see it. I mean, maybe this might be completely, we making this up here, but it feels like in general, they score lower. The output isn't always is much lower on a Thursday game than it is a Sunday or Monday game.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you guys if they said we're going to not do the Thursday night game anymore, we're just going back to Sunday and Monday, would you care?
Yes.
Yeah, I like it. I do like watching it. But yeah, just like I said, from a fantasy standpoint, I'm not a fan. But
yeah, I was going to say, because I love the game on Thursday because it means, I can crack beers. It's Friday tomorrow. It's time, the week's pretty much over. But from a fantasy standpoint, it's a nightmare.
Dude, yeah, Alex, you didn't get the memo. I've been telling everybody, fuck Fridays, man. Fridays are the weekend now. Fuck Fridays. Even if you have to go to work, just fucking pretend when you're there. Like eventually they're gonna be like, yeah, fuck Fridays too, man. So
as long as Alex, it looks to me like as long as you keep one of those crazy spreadsheets you have open at all times.
Yeah.
Like I don't think anyone has any right to question what you're doing.
Oh yeah,
just would either.
Instead of walking up and down the halls looking extremely angry and holding a lot of paperwork, now I just make the spreadsheets more complicated. That's all.
Wait, do you think the people around the office are like, oh shit, he's working on QFC data sheet again?
Motherfucker. What, I don't even know what that is, but I think we're shutting down some site in Singapore.
It's the QED report, Rose.
Yeah, you could literally just say, Alex, what are you working on today? I got the QFC data sheet. I'm
Dude, it's season 5.
Exactly. Yeah. QFC, I got to get version 3 out before Thursday night, or else it's just not going to make sense.
Yeah, I'm busy running the analytics between Jax and Chai and how they're going to look this week.
We see a lot of nards popping up in your search history.
That's awesome.
I've had stranger conversations with HR. Don't worry, guys. All right, let's see. I think that's our last game for the week. So best of luck to everybody as always. It's like Brian said here, or Dennis, I can't remember who said it, but if once we get complete week 10, we will consider it a full season. The winner, if the season were to be canceled for any reason for COVID related, the first place would be the based on record. If we have a tie, as we do right now at 6-2-2, we would do it based on most points for.
Awesome. And I need to give a shout out to our moms because they are our only fans. And I think that they listen to these things and they love it. So shout out. Shout out.
Yeah.
What's up,
Seriously,
girls?
I'm going to call bullshit to Susan that she can name the 9 planets here, or said she did. I didn't see a video, so therefore it didn't happen. Yeah.
Yeah, that got a lot of feedback.
Yeah, it really did. She was really offended
You
by
got
that.
some heat. Oh, that's fun. All right, guys. Well, I guess we'll catch up a little bit later.
Sounds good.
This week.
All right.